Hey everyone.
Hi. You're coming home, and we appreciate that.
In honor of you coming back to the team, Josh and I would like to sing you a song. 1, 2, 3.
Welcome back to the place where you found. Welcome back to the place. Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. Welcome back, Mr. Carter.
Or whatever your name is. Welcome back.
Some shows don't need a celebrity narrator to introduce the show, but this show does. 2 men, 8 kids, co-created by 2 different women, 13 multi-million-dollar businesses. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Thrivetime Show.
3, 2, 1, here we go!
Started from the bottom, now we here. Started from the bottom, and we'll show you how to get here. Started from the bottom, now we here. Started from the bottom, now we here. Started from the bottom, now we here.
Yes, 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 and yes! Thrive Nation, on today's show, we have an incredible lineup of great content we're going to be delivering to your craniums today. And Jason, it is always profound every single day that you and I are above the ground. Why?
What do you mean, why? It's a gift. We have the chance to do something every single day that we're able to wake up, and we have that sentient life. Like, it gives us purpose.
Are you a Christian?
I'm not, but I've been reading a lot recently.
And you just said every day is a what?
It's a gift.
I don't get it. I don't get it. I think somebody out there needs some encouragement today. Explain what you mean.
Well, it's like, we not only are living in, but we have lived in for a long time a very jaded reality where every day when your alarm goes off, you're pissed because you have to wake up. And even like,
I don't want to wake up.
Over the past couple weeks, I've been having to get up at 2:30 because this whole quarantine thing just to go to work. And at first I was angry. Then I thought, I am one of very few people who actually get to say, I get to go to work today. Not I have to, I get to. My business is still going on, so it doesn't matter if it's 2:30. Not only am I alive, but I can continue to do the job that pays for everything that I need, my wife needs, whatever. So
well said.
I stopped getting mad, and I just started getting motivated because I could also be dead, or I could be unemployed, or I could be both.
So what I'm going to do on today's show is I'm going to encourage everybody, but I don't like empty encouragement. I don't want like empty promises and empty hopes. I want to give people real specific moves that you can use to become more successful as a business owner and to mentally, emotionally fight that depression, okay? So we had a thriver. I'm not going to mention his name on today's show, but who I found out killed himself. And a guy who came to an actual conference multiple times. I've shaken his hand. I've met him. Who killed himself? Now, that is the second thriver that I know of who has actually taken their own life this week. And I don't talk to a lot of thrivers. I don't. And so apparently I am not doing a good enough job of communicating the urgency of this message. So if you're listening right now, I need you to stop doing whatever you're doing and just focus for a moment. Just focus for a moment. Think. There are 2 major causes of depression, all right? Two major causes of depression that are hurting great people like you. There's more, there's thousands of reasons, whatever, but there's 2 major ones. One is hope deferred. Proverbs 13:12 reads, hope deferred makes the heart sick, but a longing fulfilled is a tree of life. It's when you don't have hope that tomorrow's going to be better than today, and you don't know what's happening, and I don't know what's going to happen. That's where you get depressed. Okay. The second major cause of depression is solitary confinement. Humans were not made to be alone. But Clay, you like to be alone. I like to be away from idiots. There's a difference. I love being in the fellowship of Randy Antrican with PMHOKC, with Bronson out there in Oklahoma City. I love being around you, Jason. I love being around entrepreneurs. I can't be around people that mope all day. Those aren't my people. That's not my squad. That's not my jam. That's like having the Wu-Tang Clan hang out with a bunch of KKK people. It's probably not the best group. It's like making me go to a country concert is how I feel when I'm around most people. But if you're an entrepreneur, I get you. But if you're mopey. I don't get it. So I'm trying to help everybody out there today. But I want to make sure we can identify the two major causes of depression. One, hope deferred. It's where you don't know if the future is going to get better, and you just keep waiting for the virus to move on. And then think about this, Jason. The worst penalty we ever put out there for criminals, if you are a really, really bad criminal, we put you in solitary
confinement.
Why?
We shut you off from everybody because we know that if we put you in a damp, dark, cold room on a concrete floor with no human interaction, that's going to be worse than just making you sit behind bars where you don't see people.
You're in this. Everybody's in solitary confinement right now.
Right. It doesn't matter
Hiding
if you have
from the virus.
Yeah, it's like, okay, we have your streaming services. It's not the same.
Right.
Like you have to have that day-to-day. You have to shake somebody's hand. You have to have physical contact. You have to have meaningful conversation.
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to punch it in the face. I'm going to punch these two forms of depression in the face. And I'm giving you facts. And I want you, if you're listening to this, don't believe me. Look it up yourself. Do not. If you believe me, you're an idiot. Look it up yourself. Let it be your own knowledge. Don't just listen to what I'm saying. Don't play these games where I just blindly accept I'm too busy. I'm on watching The Voice. I couldn't look it up. Are you kidding me? So type this in. Do a search for Santa Clara County COVID-19 cases. Type this in, folks. Santa Clara County COVID-19 cases could be 50 to 85 times higher than reported. Stanford study finds. Again, Santa Clara, I'm busy. I can't type it in. I'm driving. Pull the freak over. Type this in. Jason, please read it slowly so we can type it into our phones.
Santa Clara County COVID-19 cases could be 50 to 85 times higher than reported, Stanford study finds.
Could you repeat it again? Kind of slow.
Santa Clara County COVID-19 cases could be 50 to 85 times higher than reported, Stanford study finds.
Now, if Stanford is doing a study, Stanford is a college where a lot of liberals come out of there, okay? So it's not like a shameless conservative news. It's not like Fox News reports. If that's the case, why is that an encouraging thing to know?
Enlighten me.
If 50 to 85 times more people have it, but they didn't know they had it,
right,
and they're not sick, that would imply what?
It's not as bad as we thought.
In fact, currently, it was reported by Neil Ferguson. And if you go to thrivetimeshow.com/coronavirus, you can see Neil Ferguson reported 2.2 Americans might die from the coronavirus, 2.2 million Americans. Now they've dialed it back, and they've said that 61,000 people are on pace to die from the coronavirus.
True.
Which means it would be 19,000 people per year less dangerous than the common flu.
Right.
And that's just facts. But now they're saying 50 to 85 times more people have it than they think. Listen to this audio, folks. Become unafraid, okay? So hope deferred. I'm not going to let your hope be deferred. I'm not going to interview our next guest until you are not scared. Jason, I'm playing this audio.
Do it.
Here we go. I'm playing the audio.
These are really important facts for the
This
American.
is Dr. Deborah Birx, who's at the head of the coronavirus, team fighting the virus. The Scarf Queen. Here we go.
People. I'm sure many of you saw the recent report out of the UK.
Nobody saw the report because everyone's on Facebook. People are too busy to look at the facts. It's so weird. Christians run around with their Bible, but they never read it. People have like a manual to their Ford Taurus. They've never read that thing. People are quoting the report showed that 2 million people could die. Oh, have you read the report? I don't think you have. Go to thrivetimeshow.com/coronavirus and read the report. I put it there for you. So she says, I'm sure most of you probably might have seen the report out of the UK. No, you didn't. But let's continue, Scarf Queen. Here we go.
If you saw the recent report out of the UK.
No, we didn't. No.
About them adjusting
We're too busy.
completely their needs.
Okay.
This is really quite important. If you remember, that was the report that said there would be 500,000 deaths in the UK and 2.2 million deaths in the United States. They've adjusted that number in the UK to 20,000.
What?
So 500,000 to 20,000.
Jason, how much smaller is 20,000 than 500,000?
25 times. Wait, is it?
25 times.
So their initial predictions of 2.2 million deaths are now down to 88,000. Their initial prediction of 500,000 deaths is now down to
20,000.
Right. And now the Stanford study is saying, hey now, hey now, hey now, we got to work between us. Listen, they're now saying there's 50, hey now, folks, to 85 times more people that had the coronavirus.
What? This whole time?
Yes. Wow. Which means it's 85 times less dangerous than the flu. Oh, but people don't want to hear that because they want to be scared.
That's true. You know, at first when you read that to me, I was like, how's that encouragement? Then I realized, wait,
Encouragement.
we have that many more people that have it than we thought,
Right.
But the toll is the same. Yeah, that makes sense.
Now, so meanwhile, many businesses have been forced to shut down. Many businesses have been forced to quarantine. So again, the two causes of depression. One, hope deferred. Hopefully we just combated that for you. You shouldn't have deferred hope. You should have hope immediately.
Right.
Cause of depression number 2, solitary confinement. I'm hoping during this time that maybe I can be like your virtual friend, and I hope maybe you might go out and hug somebody. Just don't tell your neighbor because they might turn you in. But seriously, if you're out there having some mental issues right now because you're stuck at home, hiding from the virus, if you need to hug somebody, don't tell me about it, but do what you have to do. Okay, Don't isolate yourself thinking you're going to save yourself from the virus, because this is jackassery. I mean, here's a fun stat for you. You know, in Michigan right now, fun fact, in Michigan, state of Michigan, you cannot buy seeds to plant your own food.
What?
They've banned purchasing your own seeds. That's sort of got true story.
As if you could plant immediate food and put grocery
But
stores
you
out of
can
business.
buy pot.
Well, now
Now in Michigan, you cannot go to your lake home. So imagine you live in the congested and packed Detroit.
right.
You cannot go to your lake home.
Can't go to a safe haven to quarantine successfully.
Yes. I mean, this is just the jackassery.
I don't laugh because it's funny. I laugh because it's confusing.
Right. So I want to dispel the fear. So cause of depression, what have we done a good job there? Hopefully people don't have hope deferred. They know we're going to be okay. We're not going to die from the virus.
Well, no, it's good because I honestly we had talked about this last week, that quote, the hope deferred makes the heart sick.
Yes.
You asked Robert, what does hope deferred mean? And I was like, oh, I'm glad he didn't call on me because I wouldn't quite know how to respond to that. But now it's one of those things like, oh, okay, well, you can't have hope today. You can't look forward to tomorrow. But one thing you can't, like, people want to have a solid definition of what hope is. Just know that tomorrow's a different day. You don't have to have some tangible thing like, God, I hope I get $500 tomorrow. You just have to hope that you wake up tomorrow and then go from there.
Now somebody else is going, but I heard it kills kids. Okay, I hear the coronavirus kills kids. I'm going to play the audio for you. From CNN. This is the audio from CNN.
As any parent knows, children get colds and viruses a lot. But mercifully, children are not getting terribly sick from this new coronavirus.
Children simply don't get very sick when they get this infection.
Oh, so Dr. Arthur Reingold from the University of California, Berkeley, reports that children really don't get super sick from this. So you shouldn't be afraid about your kids.
Nope.
You shouldn't be afraid about your life.
Nope.
But if you're an elderly person, all right? If you're an elderly person and your immune system is deeply compromised, all right, you should protect yourself.
Yeah.
And if you're a business owner and you're going to have to open your business here on May 1, you want to open your business, you're going to be allowed to open your business on May 1, and the government's going to put stupid rules in place.
Yep.
The same people that are wrong all the time about a great many things, these wonderful geniuses, are going to put out these new restrictions. So for haircuts, we have to sanitize the crap out of elephant in the room now in between every haircut.
I bet.
So this is what's going to be crazy. What I know right now is we're going to have less than 10 people in the place at any given time. So we'll have 4 stylists cutting hair, 4 customers, and then we have to be out. Everyone has to leave before the next 4 customers can come in.
That's so crazy. It's not gonna work.
It's going to be done.
Well, I mean, it's one of those things like, you can stay open. But
so we're going to be open 7 days a week, I've decided, it looks like. And we're going to be open 12 hours a day, and we're going to be sanitizing everywhere because I've done the math. And it'd be more expensive to go out of business than it would be to just stay in business and follow the stupid rules. But we can't be profitable until the restrictions are gone.
So dumb.
But I found out that a lot of our competition went out of business because they couldn't get their paycheck protection funding because they didn't have their 941s because they don't pay employee. The 941 is the employee paycheck document that shows how much you spent on payroll.
Yep.
And a lot of our competition, they do booth rent, so they weren't paying taxes.
No.
So therefore, they went out of business. So it's kind of crazy. So we're going to be competing against nobody.
Sweet.
Except for the coronavirus, which is less dangerous than the flu.
It doesn't cut hair.
So we're going to have to sanitize. And everybody out there is going to have to sanitize. You're going to have to put sanitizer everywhere. And you know the problem is, Jason, previous to this, Purell and big companies that made hand sanitizer, they were already at a certain capacity, right?
True.
So people have been trying to buy this crap and they can't get it.
I know people that are trying to make it because they can't get it.
People can't get it. And so I thought on today's show, because the solitary confinement, the number 2 cause of depression, is going to be over soon. You're going to be out there getting your hair cut, going to restaurants, and you're going to need hand sanitizer everywhere, whether you believe in the jackassery of the coronavirus or not.
Right.
We're going to have to follow these guidelines for the next months or years. And there's not going to be enough hand sanitizer.
No, there's not.
So I thought, let's interview a guy who produces hand sanitizer. Let's get him on the show.
Yeah.
And he's also an entrepreneur who, by the way, his major source of income even 3 months ago was making candles.
Wow.
He's the owner of a candle company that's been around for 30 years. So now without any further ado, we introduce you to a man by the name of Matthew Vasquez. Matthew, welcome on to the Thrivetime Show. How are you?
Oh, doing good. Thank you.
Hey, by the way, make sure you eat that microphone. It's like a spiritual thing, you know? Yeah. And I say eat it. I know that we're doing this over the phone because we couldn't possibly be in the same place at the same time.
That's
so
true. Social
I appreciate
distancing.
you for getting closer to your phone / microphone. Okay, so you tell the listeners out there, what's the name of your company?
Secret Gardens Candle Company.
What's the web address?
sgcandleco.com.
SG what?
sgcandleco.com.
I was trying to write that down, but I'm sorry, I was unable to write it down super fast. Can you say one more time?
It's sgcandleco.com.
Jason, did you get that?
I believe it was sgcandleco.com.
I feel like he's saying sgcandleco.com. Okay, so you guys make candles. The company's been around for 30 years, and I understand you went to a festival in Broken Arrow, and the festival was like the last thing that happened, the last event before our super wise mayors and governors decided to shut down our cities. Tell us about this event that you went to.
So we went to an event that Secret Gardens has been going to since the event started years ago, and it's always one of the best events of the year.
What's it called?
It's called Shamrock the Rose.
Shamrock the Rose, got it.
So the attendance is normally insane, shoulder to shoulder, and this year there was hardly anybody there. We said we'd be there. We have the biggest tent at that event, so we showed up because we committed to it. And it was the worst event probably ever in the history of 30 years.
So you committed to it. You're there. Nobody's there.
Yeah.
But you said one bright spot came out of it is people were buying what from you?
So we decided to make hand sanitizer because we needed it, and then we decided to make a little extra. And so the only thing that sold that day was hand sanitizer.
Why?
Because they couldn't find it anywhere. And we had no limits. So they came. If we'd had toilet paper, we'd have sold that too. But
so my understanding is that Amazon then called you, hearing that you could make hand sanitizer because Amazon was out. Am I making that up? Am I exaggerating? Or tell us the story.
Not at all. We got a call from Amazon, and what was said was that they could not source it for their delivery drivers, and if they did not have sanitizer on every truck for every employee, they would not be able to operate their prime deliveries. And could we get it? And if we could, how fast could
Can I tell you a fun Amazon story?
Yes.
They're doing the tests for the coronavirus by doing samples in your nose.
Oh, it's painful too.
And they're doing these tests, and that's how they can tell if you got the coronavirus, you know. And a lot of people know this, but like if you, the big thing is if you were trying to limit the spread of the flu, which by the way, the flu killed 80,000 people in 2017, 2018. So if you did have the flu, it's always a good idea to practice good sanitation, you know, and to make sure that if you cough or sneeze, that you would cough like into your sleeve, maybe, you know, or into your elbow kind of area, and then you would wash your hands. And we had the Amazon guy delivered something on was it Friday? It was the best. It's the best story ever. And he's out there going because they can't get in because we have less than 10 people in the building, and I have the door closed, so you can't have people in. And so I saw the guy. And this dude is hacking like, and he's just like, I mean, and he's trying to bring me a box of stuff. But I mean, he is like, it's like Joan Rivers or something. It's like Sammy Davis Jr. It's like he's hacking up a lung over there. But then he does the old nose pick move.
Oh, no.
So he's picking that nose. He's going for gold. And I'm just watching it, kind of almost laughing. And then he comes out of the vehicle and hands me a box. And I thought to myself, whoa. So I then take the box like, and I go wash my hands and sanitize my hands. But, I mean, the Amazon, I mean, even though they have a ton of hand sanitizer, they don't have to teach their employees how to be sanitary.
That's true.
Have you caught somebody ever in your lifetime being unsanitary?
Oh, yeah. One of my favorite stories of all time was I was at the intersection of 15th and Yale.
Oh, yeah.
And, right where Driller Stadium used to be.
Yeah.
And typically I pay no attention to my rearview mirrors. I don't use them for anything.
Sure, yeah.
Sorry, police. But I just happened to look up, and the guy behind me, he's right around my age, music blaring, he's singing along to it, and all of a sudden I see him. He puts his nose up as if he's looking at his own rearview mirror, fingers straight in. And I mean, he's going, like you said, for gold. Like he's mining in that thing.
Working that thing.
And then he goes to the other side. And he's doing it, and it was the longest light ever. So I'm just watching this like, this
Whoa.
can't possibly be happening.
It's a thing.
Somebody my age is doing something like a 5-year-old will do. But then he stops, and what do you think he does next?
I don't know.
No.
What does he do?
He ate it. And if that wasn't good enough, he went back for seconds. And I remember thinking, this is I have never seen an adult do that before, and I'm still to this day thinking, I wonder what he's up to right now. I wonder if he's still doing the same thing.
I feel sick. Yeah. You're a sick person. You're a sick man. I'm glad this is an audio-only podcast because if there was a visual that went with that, I'd probably vomit. Yeah. Okay, so Amazon ordered from you. Who else has ordered from you, Matthew?
Oklahoma Natural Gas has been a continual order customer. We take care of all of they've got over 100 locations.
What's included in the stuff that you make? What kind of stuff's in there?
So we use 200 proof alcohol. So we started with that, and then we have
200 proof?
200 proof.
That would get you drunk. Okay, continue.
It would.
You ever
Just
take a sip of it?
No.
Because there's like fire. Okay.
Yes, yeah. We blow fire out the back.
That's crazy.
So we do 200 proof alcohol that's made here in Tulsa, and then we also are using glycerin, and we scent it as well. And
you've provided this for FedEx, Bank of America. Who else?
FedEx, Bank of America. We've done several schools. We've done clinics. We've been sending it. New York City has been ordering it from us now. So we just sent out 100 bottles yesterday. Actually.
Now I know that for Elephant in the Room, my wife and I have decided we're just going to be buying crap from you. I say crap. I don't try to minimize the sanitizer. Crap is a very endearing. When I say crap, I mean that's a great thing.
Oh, yeah.
You're selling some great crap over there. But I have to buy it. Whether I want to or not, I'm going to have to buy a lot. And so we're just going to auto ship. So we're going to go to sgcandleco.com. We're going to go there. We're going to auto ship. We're going to get it every month. And Jason, whether I want to or not, I have to do it. And why do we auto ship up here at the office toilet paper? Why do we do that?
Well, it's easier. We know we're going to need it.
We don't
so
need it.
Might as well have a steady stream coming in because every now and then the market's going to get fearful like now and buy up stuff. You could say crap in this particular situation.
Speaking of crap, have you been up here in the office when we ran out of toilet paper? Has that happened? Have you seen it happen?
It has happened one time, and Andrew and I had to make a mad dash to multiple locations.
It's not fun when you're out. You can't be out.
Right.
Right away we're like, whoa, we're out. We got to go to the store now.
Right.
And Amazon does a very good job auto shipping us toilet paper.
True.
But there was a brief window where all of a sudden it was like the supply was cut off.
Yeah.
So, Matthew, I've got rough questions for you. One, if I'm a listener out there and I sign up to auto ship from you, I go up to your website, sgcandleco.com, sgcandleco.com. If I go to sgcandleco.com and I click buy, can I auto ship with you? Is that thing?
You can. You just pick reoccurring.
Oh, frick, this is the move. And you're also donating money to homeless people. Why are you doing that?
We're doing that. Number one, everything that we do, we believe there needs to be a greater good to it.
Why?
Because I believe that our existence is to not only take care of ourselves but our fellow man and to look outside of our homes.
Why?
It's just it's how me and my wife have decided to live our lives.
Why? I mean that. I mean, listen. I mean, listen to me. When I listen to the words coming out of my mouth, Jason, listen to this. Have you guys met some real ass faces?
Yes.
Okay. So I know people. I talked to a lady yesterday. Gosh, I wish I didn't have this conversation, but I did. I had it.
I'm excited.
And she says, Mr. Clark, yeah, a few years ago, I filed for unemployment. I said that you fired me. Can I come back? I'm like, this is something I vaguely remember her face from Elephant in the Room.
Mm.
I'm like, so you want to come back? But you're somebody who said that I fired you. Do you remember that? And they go, yeah, and I'm getting unemployment, but it's just depressing. Can I come back? I'll come back for free.
Wow.
So I said, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to forgive you immediately, and I will consider bringing you back. But I need to make sure that our current employees have those positions first.
Right.
But I had to ask. I said, can I ask you? I want to say her name, but I can't. Can I ask you why you said you were fired? And she says, well, the guy I was dating at the time said you're made of money, and if we filed, we could win a lawsuit.
Mm.
And so I'm like, do you not feel bad? She goes, I really right now am feeling bad because I saw you on Channel 8 advocating to be open for your people. And I called some of the girls that work there, and they said that you've been paying them. And I feel bad now. But it took like almost 3 years to feel bad.
Was she dating the nose picker, man?
Oh, boy. And so it's a thing of like there are people that do not care about other people.
Right.
So the fact that you do care about people is weird.
Yeah.
So is there like a psychological problem? Do you find yourself going out into the parking lots and going, yeah? I mean, do you have other issues, or why do you care about people? What's going on in your head?
I guess I don't know. It's just something that was always instilled in me from birth, and
Okay.
I saw my parents do it.
You're sick.
And we just decided to keep doing it. So we just rather if we have one, let's see how we can divide it.
And you were a candle man.
Yeah.
Sing us a song for the candle man. Sing us a song. You were making candles, and now you're like the hand sanitizer guy. How have you been able to make that switch?
You know, in times of need, a lot of times great things are birthed. And one big thing for us was, we're not going to fail. We're not going to stop. I explained this the other day to somebody. I said, there's a difference between a bison and a cow. And when the storm comes, the cow stops and just lets it happen. The bison runs straight at it. And for the bison, that storm lasts longer or lasts shorter. For the cow, it lasts longer. And regardless whether we believe all the hype that's being said right now or not, we're in the middle of a storm because there are financial repercussions during this time.
I agree with that, yes.
And so we're either going to look at it and run straight at it and run through it quicker, or we're going to stop and see what happens. So we decided to put our head down and go.
Folks, if you're out there today, what I want you to do is I want you to have 3 action steps. And then what we're going to do, Jason, is we're going to get into some other great content here, okay?
Oh, yeah.
3 action steps. 1, I want you to go to thrivetimeshow.com/coronavirus and choose to believe that I'm not being honest, or I'm inaccurate, or maybe I'm not a smart guy. And I want you to go up to thrivetimeshow.com/coronavirus and I want you to read all the information up there. I want you to look at the Stanford Daily Report. If at the very least, just do a Google search for this particular article that's produced by Stanford College. Type in Santa Clara County COVID-19 cases could be 50 to 85 times higher than reported. Go check it out. Vaccinate yourself from the fear. So step 1, go to thrivetimeshow.com/coronavirus and vaccinate yourself from the fear. Step 2, find a way to not be in solitary confinement. Get on Zoom and call your grandma. Sneak out and find a really young person and hug them. Because they can't get it and you can't either. I don't know.
But don't be weird about it.
Yeah, don't be weird. Don't it's kind of, once the coronavirus is officially not scary, but people are still wearing masks, I kind of want to run around at Brahms and hug people.
Oh, yeah. It's so good.
I kind of want to make that my prank. Once it's official and common knowledge that it's not dangerous, whatever that happens, I want to be like the first man to hug people, like just randomly, like he's a toucher.
It's like that guy who
I'll be like
went
the Joe
viral.
Biden of hugging.
Right. It's like that guy who went viral because he was the first person to record videos of him wearing like the free hugs t-shirt.
Yeah.
Like, oh, it's going to be you.
Oh my gosh, I'll be the free hug guy. Yeah. So, By the way, look at Joe Biden. You see the photos of him kissing Brandon. Look at this. Look at him. He's just he's a kisser.
He just kisses everybody.
Hey, look at him. Look at Joe Biden. What is he doing? Oh, I've met people like that. May Joe Biden not kiss me. Okay. So one is go to thrivetimeshow.com/coronavirus to learn more about this. Step 2, get out of that solitary confinement. Get yourself to a place where you're mentally healthy. And 3, get yourself some hand sanitizer.
True.
You got to do it. I recommend you check out sgcandleco.com, sgcandleco.com. I'm telling you, it's a good thing. You order it, auto ship it, boom, it's a move, it's done. Taking one step, you just buy it, you auto ship it, boom, there it is. But then the fun stuff we're going to talk about next is we are going to be interviewing, I don't want to make up the number, we're going to interview, I think it's 18 Thrivers that received their paycheck protection funding this week. We're going to interview 18 Thrivers that got their paycheck protection funding. And we're going to discuss, unfortunately, the suicide of a Thriver, because I don't want that to happen to a single other person out there. And sometimes when you talk about stuff that you don't want to talk about, sometimes it can be comforting because maybe somebody else is having those thoughts, and it kind of is almost cathartic and therapeutic.
Right.
But Matthew, before we let you go and get back to what you're doing here on this phone-in edition of the Thrivetime show, where you're not possibly in the studio, we couldn't do that. Can you tell the listeners one more time? What's your website, and why do you believe everybody out there should buy hand sanitizer from yourself?
So the website is sgcandleco.com.
Got it.
And I just believe that, we use all natural products, and we believe in the greater good. So when you buy from us, you know that you're also taking care of the homeless community, because we are sending hand sanitizer to the homeless everywhere when we get a call.
And without any further ado, we're going to hit the old transition button. Jason, this transition button is going to feel kind of like we're in Batman.
Ooh.
But we're not.
I'm ready.
3, 2, 1, boom! You are now entering the dojo of Mojo and the Thrivetime Show.
Thrivetime Show on the microphone. What is this? Top of the iTunes charts in the category of business. Drilling down on business topics like we are a dentist. Providing you with mentorship like you are an apprentice. And we go so fast that you might get motion sickness. Grab a pen and pad to the lab. Let's get in this. It's time to bear some fruit like some Florida oranges. 3, 2, 1, here come the business ninjas. Stacking the cash, making the dash, earning the plaques, bringing it back. Bring me the track so I can get up on the mic and speak the facts. Stacking the cash, making the dash, earning the plaques, bringing it back. Bring me the track so I can get up on the mic and speak the facts. No negative emotion, cause that's what business is. Always dominate, cause I got 5 kids. I will not lose, I don't break but bruise. They can talk about me, I can take that abuse. But here is the truth, while they make that excuse. I'll be up grinding cause the scoreboard's the truth. He is my mentor, like my Yoda dude. He showed me the force like I was a young Luke. Stacking the cash, making the dash, earning the plaques, bringing it back. Bring me the track so I can get up on the mic and speak the facts. Stacking the cash, making the dash, earning the plaques, bringing it back. Bring me the track so I can get up on the mic and speak the facts. Time for higher learning and higher earning. Taking you to the top like we're hiking Mount Vernon. We're changing the mindsets like we're incense burning. Passing on the magic like our name was Irvin. Serving up that knowledge like I was a servant. And I cite what I say so you know I'm not a servant. It's Thrivetime Show, bringing the heat while fervent. Giving it to you straight in a world that's swerving. Stacking the cash, making the dash, earning the plaques, bringing it back. Bring me the track so I can get up on the mic and speak the facts. Stacking the cash, making the dash, earning the plaques, bringing it back. Bring me the track so I can get up on the mic and speak the facts.
Encouragement. Yes.
Encouragement. Andrew, why would anybody right now, why would any listener out there right now need some encouragement?
Oh, man, there's a lot of states right now that are closed down, including most of the country is closed down right now. So a lot of people can't do business.
And the problem is, one of the things that causes depression, there's a few things that cause depression. I'm not a psychologist, but I want to get into 2 causes of depression. And then I'd like to try to be the cure today, if I can, of depression for somebody out there, because I mean this sincerely. We just learned this morning that a man who has attended Thrive conferences has killed himself. And I don't know that I'm doing a good enough of a job in encouraging our listeners because this is a guy who had been to multiple conferences, and he lost hope. So I thought, I need to do my best to encourage our listeners. And I apologize if it's not good enough. But I'm going to start by getting into the 2 causes of depression. And if this is you and you are depressed today, please know you're not going to be impressed by me, but hopefully the words that I'm communicating to you today will touch your heart because they were written by somebody who's a better writer than me. So if you open that controversial book known as the Bible to Proverbs 13:12, Proverbs 13:12. I'll give you a moment to Google search it if you want. Proverbs 13:12 reads, "Hope deferred makes the heart sick, but a longing fulfilled is a tree of life." I repeat, hope deferred makes the heart sick, but a longing fulfilled is a tree of life. Andrew, what does it mean when somebody has their hope deferred or continually delayed, or they keep being told that their business is going to be able to open next week, maybe one more week, stay in your house one more week? Why does hope deferred, and I'm not expecting you to be a psychologist, you are a business coach who works with a lot of great clients. Yep. Why does the idea of not knowing what the future holds and not knowing when we're going to be open, why does that depress people?
Yeah, hope is something people need to keep going. They need to have something to strive for, to reach for, to look forward to. And so once you take that away or defer it or keep prolonging it or pushing it back, people start to lose hope, which, now they think maybe we'll never open, maybe we'll never leave our houses, maybe we'll never. So when you don't have that hope, it causes sickness in a lot of different ways.
And the governor of California, when the governor of California suggests that we won't have college football this year and that we'll not have crowds of people gathering around again to prevent the potential death, according to Dr. Fauci reports that 60,000 Americans are at risk of dying right now. Andrew, when a governor of California comes out and says they might not open up the state of California for football this year, maybe next year, who knows? Why does that kill the joy of people?
Yeah, that's one of many things that they're talking about not bringing back that people look forward to. They have hope for it. They long for that every single year. That's something that they live for. That's something that they strive for. That's something that they're looking forward to. And as soon as you take that away, along with a lot of other basic rights and a lot of other things that people look forward to, then it causes your hope to just be destroyed.
When you have to be when it's almost a criminal activity to get together on Easter with family,
right?
That's jacked up.
That's bad.
Now
it's
we
really
have this thing called the First Amendment in this great United States, and Andrew, I'm going to read the First Amendment to the listeners out there. The First Amendment reads, "Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion or prohibiting the free exercise thereof, or abridging the freedom of speech or of the press or of the right of the people to peaceably assemble and to petition the government for a redress of grievances." Again, it reads, "Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of a religion or prohibiting the free exercise thereof, or abridging the freedom of speech or of the press or of the right of the people to peaceably assemble and to petition the government for a redress of grievances." Andrew, I want to give the listeners hope, but I want to deal with the first 2 causes of depression that I am aware of and that I'm seeing happening all over this great country. One is hope deferred.
Yep.
The second cause of depression that I find, and I have found this consistently, and you see this whenever you have a child that's misbehaving, or you have an American who keeps breaking laws and keeps threatening people, and they become so dangerous. The most dangerous criminals, the worst possible punishment we can give them, it is not death. It is
solitary confinement.
Yes.
Yep.
So when you put somebody in the prison and you keep them confined, why is solitary confinement the worst kind of punishment for the worst criminals in the world?
I mean, when you're put in a room by yourself with no interaction with anybody, with no light, with no hope, That's the biggest thing. You have no hope. You don't know when the next time you're going to leave is. You don't know when the next time, you don't know when you're going to get out. It starts to do some crazy, crazy stuff to your brain, and it will permanently just jack you up. It will mess you up so bad.
So if you're listening today and you find yourself being depressed because hope has been deferred, and point one, and you find yourself being depressed because you're in solitary confinement, which is the worst possible punishment our governors, our mayors, our wardens, our leaders can possibly, to the worst war criminals, the worst possible people, the worst punishment we've come up with is solitary confinement.
Yeah.
And that's what everybody's in.
That's right.
So you could see that people might be depressed. Andrew, is it shocking to you that the alcohol consumption in America has now gone up 55% according to Newsweek? Does that shock you?
No. When you lock people up and they're bored and they don't have any hope, alcohol is a ready and able thing to turn to at the moment.
But it's not shocking to you that people would turn to that.
No.
Okay. So let's back up. There's two major causes of depression that we're seeing.
Mm-hmm.
Hope deferred from the Bible. It reads, hope deferred makes the heart sick, but a longing fulfilled is a tree of life. Second cause of depression is solitary confinement. Do you agree? I want to get your take on this, Andrew.
Yeah.
Do you agree with this idea of keeping Americans locked up in their homes? And if not, I don't want to hear your opinion. I would like to see if there's any factual justification and or argument that you would have for saying that it is immoral, illegal, whatever, to lock people up. I just want to hear. I mean, are you a fan of it? Do you think this is a great idea?
No, I am not a fan of locking everyone up, and it's the fact is the First Amendment, the Constitution, that says we have the right to peaceably assemble. And then the other fact, the reason why I don't think we should lock everybody up is because this virus that has been proven to kill people has only been killing people who are of a specific kind and age and have a specific symptoms.
And to back you up, the Center for Disease Control is reporting that in Italy, 99.2% of all of the deaths that have come from the coronavirus involve people who are elderly with compromised immune systems.
Yep.
To also back you up, we have Neil Ferguson is the guy who initially predicted that 2.2 million American lives could be lost as a result of the coronavirus, and 500,000 British people, their lives could be lost. He initially predicted that, and then CNN came out with this study just talking about the coronavirus's impact on kids potentially. Listen to this real quick. This is
As any parent knows, children get colds and viruses a lot. But mercifully, children are not getting terribly sick from this new coronavirus.
Children simply don't get very sick when they get this infection. So if they develop any symptoms at all, they're mild, so severe.
So this is from CNN, folks. This is from CNN. This is Dr. Arthur Reingold from the University of California, Berkeley, explaining that kids can't get sick from this. So again, hope deferred. I'm giving you some hope. 1, kids cannot get sick and die from the coronavirus. Can they get sick? Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Can the kids get sick of the flu? Yes. Did you know the flu in 2017, 2018 killed 80,000 Americans? The common flu killed 80,000 Americans in 2017, 2018, and it took the lives of 180 kids. The coronavirus is less dangerous than the common flu, but yet our reaction to it is more dangerous than anything I've ever seen. If you go to thrivetimeshow.com/coronavirus, I'm giving you all of the encouragement you're going to need to have hope based upon, I want you to have hope that you're not going to die from this thing, okay? Because a lot of people are afraid of dying from this thing. Now, I'm not a doctor, so I thought, let's get a doctor on today's show. So this right here is Dr. Scott Jensen. He's a senator from Minnesota, and this is what he has to say about the way in which our medical personnel are diagnosing people with the coronavirus. This is what he's saying.
Well, in short, it's ridiculous. I spent some time earlier today just going through the CDC's manual on how to complete death certificates and the parts that were specifically written for physicians. And in that manual that talks of precision and specificity, and that's what we were trained with. The determination of the cause of death is a big deal. It has impact on estate planning. It has impact on future generations. And the idea that we're going to allow people to massage and sort of game the numbers is a real issue, because we're going to undermine the trust. And right now, as we see politicians doing things that aren't necessarily motivated on fact and science, the public's their trust in politicians is already wearing thin.
So what do you say to Dr. Fauci tonight?
Well, I would remind him that anytime healthcare intersects with dollars, it gets awkward. Right now, Medicare has determined that if you have a COVID-19 admission to the hospital, you'll get paid $13,000.
Okay, you get paid, a hospital gets paid $13,000 every time they check the box that somebody has coronavirus, whether they have coronavirus or not. So again, hope deferred. Have some hope here, folks. The number of cases are being grossly overreported, okay? They're being grossly overreported. Also, you just heard on CNN, you didn't hear it on Fox, you heard it from a liberal organization, that the coronavirus is not super harmful for kids. So we know that. We should have no fear of your kids dying from this, and you should have no fear of it getting you unless you have a severely compromised immune system, in which case you should take precautions and try to limit your interaction with other people that may put you at risk. That's the only people who are at risk of this. Now, you would think that the governors of these states that have suggested that we should shut down our country would have a knowledge of the Constitution. And Andrew, if you are a referee of a professional football game, why should you have a knowledge of the rule book?
Well, if you're going to call somebody out for breaking one of the rules, you better know what you're talking about.
You used to work for me doing professional photography for weddings. Why would you want to have a knowledge of the camera if you were going to go out there and take photos of the bride and groom on their big day?
Well, if I didn't, I would be out there in front of the whole crowd, in front of the bride and groom, and be looking.
It'd be
at
embarrassing.
Them blankly. Yeah, it'd be
and so Tucker Carlson decided, let's interview the governor of New Jersey, who decided to shut his state down, and ask him, under what authority does he have to shut down his state? I mean, how can he violate the First Amendment of the United States Constitution? How can he violate the First Amendment of the Constitution? Did he talk to an attorney? Is there some clause Tucker's not aware of? And this is what the governor of New Jersey had to say to Tucker Carlson. Listen to this.
So you made that decision, and as I noted before, 15 congregants at a synagogue in New Jersey were arrested and charged for being in a synagogue together. Now, the Bill of Rights, as you well know, protects Americans' right, enshrines their right to practice their religion as they see fit and to congregate together, to assemble peacefully. By what authority did you nullify the Bill of Rights in issuing this order? How do you have the power to do that?
That's above my pay grade, Tucker. So I wasn't thinking of the Bill of Rights when we did this.
What kind of growth have you had since you and I have been working together over these past few years?
3.45 million. I got those stats before I got on here.
So you've grown by 3.45 million.
Yeah, 3,450,000.
Would that be like if you took the combined revenue, maybe doubled it? Have we gone up by
about almost 3, not quite.
Could you talk about just maybe the impact it's made on you, knowing that, okay, I'm going to pay this guy this amount of money. I'm not going to get a random fee or a random charge, or he's not going to, go, oops, we had 2 calls, so it's more, or wow, we didn't meet this week, so it's less. Can you talk about just knowing in your mind that you got the graphic design, the photo, the video, the web, the search, the ads, all of that is a monthly thing?
Yeah, not too long ago, I looked at what the average percentage of sales was spent on marketing, and I'm like half of the bottom number is what spent on marketing. Obviously, my marketing's working because we're tracking it, right, and the sales growth. And as far as the SEO, and like I've messed up and didn't send money to the hosting service and crashed my website. Clay had it back up in half a day. It's really great to have somebody call, just fixes it. I can do what I do, you do what you do. So it's very powerful to me to have somebody that no matter what's going on, no matter what crashes, you can take care of it. And I'm very convinced that it's a great bargain. I don't know how you do what you do as cheap as you do, but it actually is super economical for me. Man, if you want change, you need to change, right? And if you knew what you needed to know to change it, you would already changed it. So it might be good to get some knowledge. I always say this: you're stuck at your level of knowledge right now. So if you don't increase that, you can't go anywhere. And especially in the area of business, most startups are technicians, right? A lot of technicians are kind of arrogant and don't think they need any help. Never even read a book on business. That was me. And then wonder why you're having trouble running one, right? So it is a huge win to actually start learning about business. And I read books now, and I value knowledge. But it was a journey that really took the lid off of me, or I'd be in crisis right now at 65 and having to twist wrenches still and be in that mode I was in when I came to you. So I would encourage everybody, even for your health, your marriage, fix it. You need to fix it.
Folks, on today's show, I'm going to tell you about a success story. I'm telling you a success story of a real diligent doer. Now, he could be a male model. You might say, come on, this guy's not real. He's an actor. He's a paid model. His website is RC Auto Specialists. RC Auto Specialists, that's his company number one. Company number two is thegaragebA.com. This is a automotive repair business. And over here, the Ford business is a diesel repair specialty shop. And again, he could be a male model. He could be an actor. He could be a rapper. He could be an AI-generated example of perfection. But he's Roy Cockshaw. He's in the flesh. Roy, welcome onto the Thrivetime Show. How are you, sir?
I'm happy. Thanks for having me on, Clay.
Well, I wanted to have you on the show because I have a client that I'm working with right now. Great guy. And this is not a passive-aggressive testimonial, but he's in the automotive space, and he's kind of going, yeah, but my industry is different. So let's start off with the success, and then we'll get into how we've done it together. What kind of growth have you had since you and I have been working together over these past few years?
3.45 million. I got those stats before I got on here.
So you've grown by 3.45 million.
Yeah, 3,450,000.
Would that be like if you took the combined revenue and maybe doubled it? Have we gone up by
about almost three, not quite.
Got it. So almost three times.
Yes, 275% at least.
Now, what happens with a lot of people, and this, I'm going to send this show right away to this particular guy, is a lot of times we have a bakery, a dentistry, a law firm, a product, and a lot of my clients will say, you know, it's different in my industry because I'm sure you see the same thing in your business. People bring in a car and they say, look, I don't need a diagnostic. I think what it is this. Look, I don't need you to look at my car. I think it's this. Could you maybe just talk about when you and I first met, what were you thinking, or what was kind of going through your mind as you were being introduced to me by some of your friends?
Yeah, I was in a crisis situation on my second business. I was minus 250,000. Now, my first business went pretty good, but I was a mechanic trying to run a business. I wasn't a businessman, and that second one taught me a pretty good lesson. So a good friend of mine, Aaron Antis, recommended you, and so that's why I reached out to you.
And when we and I first started working, I always tell people, they say, how do I grow a company? And I'm going to pull out my sheet, or at least how I look at it. I'm going to pull it up. I'm going to go to rumble.com. I'm going to pull up our recent business videos so people can see this. And if anybody out there, you want to follow along, go to any of my business shows. I always put the proven plan in those notes. So let me pull this up real quick.
Yep.
And I'm scrolling down, and here we go. So people say, what's the most important step I need to take to grow my business? I said, there's 14 steps, but let's go one by one. The first step is you have to know your revenue goals. Roy, every time someone comes in to service their vehicle, you're the kindest guy I know, and I know that you do this. If nothing else, you undercharge for stuff. And if you're not intentional and you don't know your revenue goals, what's going to happen by default for a guy like you who frankly would give the shirt off your back to people, and you do that? What would happen what was happening by default?
Yeah, we were just going under, and I was, like I said, I didn't have the knowledge to pull it out because I was a mechanic trying to run a business, and this one was going to require a businessman. So my journey with you was learning metrics, learning all 14 of those steps were foreign to me. I just thought, hey, I can do this. And like I said, the first one just kind of went by itself. The second one was the one that forced me to change. So that is how my journey began with Mr. Clark here. So.
Now, second step is, you have to know your break-even numbers. And
Sure.
break-even is just, how much business do we have to do just to break even? And maybe for the listeners out there that don't have a context of what you do, could you maybe share about the kinds of services that you provide at your automotive businesses, just so listeners can get an idea of the kinds of solutions you provide before we get into the break-even numbers?
Sure. My big store, the Ford Specialty Store, we go from anything from oil changes to putting engines in diesel trucks. And so it's turnkey all the way across the board. Anything you get done at the dealer, you can get done at that shop. Garage is a little different model. It's the neighborhood garage around the corner. We've done a few engines. That's not really our mainstream. Would be air conditioners, electrical alternators, things like that. Alignments, suspension issues, general auto repair. So.
And it doesn't matter whether someone's a doctor, a dentist, or a lawyer. We have to know our break-even points. And the break-even point is, how much revenue do you have to do just to break even? Could you talk about how you frame that in your mind now that you do know your break-even point? Now that you know how many days a month you have to, how many customers you have to see a month just to break even? How does that impact how you run your business?
Yeah, I mean, you're behind, you're under until you hit that number, and so there's some urgency to get to that number. And I've found that with my employees, if they don't have a target either, then they don't really strive to hit it. And so I've structured my pay plans to where we're all on commission. And so we all are going the same direction for the same reason, and it works good for us. But they most definitely know where that break-even point is when we start making money. At this point, my break-even point is right at 48,000 gross profit per week, shops combined.
And you know that, and I love how you mentioned the merit-based pay. Everybody on your team is getting paid based off what they produce, not based on how many hours per week that they occupy space and breathe air. Moving on to step 3, you have to figure out how many hours per week you're going to work. Now, this is one thing that's been interesting about you and the different clients I work with, is I have some clients that I work with that are 25 years old, and I say, how many hours a week do you want to work? And they go, ooh, 30 hours a week. And you go, really? Then there's a guy like you who you've been working, 6 days, 7 days a week for years, and you're a Bible believer. You always take your family to church, but you would do whatever it took, and you have done whatever it takes to be successful. And so you did that. But you knew in your mind that you had a vision that you wanted to get to a place where you could take your wonderful wife on dates and spend time with the grandkids and do that. And so you were willing to put in the work, but you also had boundaries on how many hours per week you're willing to work and what days you wanted to be free to travel. Could you talk about the balance of that? Because I do see a lot of young whippersnappers being unwilling to put in any work at all to grow the company. Then I also see grizzled entrepreneurs willing to work 7 days a week. Family, don't even worry about the family. We're just going to work 7 days a week. I want to get your thoughts on how you balance that.
Yeah, I believe there's seasons of life. Starting a business, you're all in. There's kind of I would call it an adrenaline rush for at least the first 2 or 3 years where I'm working literally 70, 80 hours and not really even thinking about it. It's just what we have to get done here. And after you get some success, I've throttled that back some. I've got a couple of young 35-year-olds that are doing the heavy lifting, and I'm actually running it like a business. Thank you, Mr. Clark. And I was a mechanic attempting to do it, and I was in what I call micromanager hell. I didn't have systems, processes, so I was a fireman, and there was always more fires than I could put out. So hence the 70 or 80 hours, not real efficient. So now I can take off a week or two and not even get a phone call. But that was after many years of grinding and getting to that point.
So powerful. I want everybody to take notes. What you're hearing, folks, is a real entrepreneur, a real grandpa, a real committed husband, a real committed dad who's just giving you real information here. Okay, there's no BS here, folks. Now, step number 4, you got to figure out your unique value proposition. We have to figure out your unique value proposition, and there's a lot of automotive repair shops competing for business out there, a lot of diesel repair shops competing for the marketplace. And you and I sat down, and I think that was the first area where maybe you and I had some mental friction, because I was obsessive. I said, Roy, you and I, every single week, we got to get video reviews. We got to get images on that website. We got to write search engine content that no one's going to read. And we got to get more Google reviews. And then we got to run the same ads every week. We don't have to change them every week, but we keep those ads. So VISMD, for people taking notes, it's video reviews, images, search engine content, more Google reviews, and then run those ads, never turn them off. And I think that was the first time where you were kind of going, I don't know if you know what you're talking about. Could you talk about that a little bit?
Well, first of all, several of those I thought to myself, well, Clay doesn't understand my business, and that's not going to work. But I actually did it because I was going to prove you wrong. And I'm glad I didn't open my mouth, because I actually proved you right. And in my mind, I finally said, look, obviously I don't know how to do it. I'm sinking this ship at minus 250,000. So I'm going to go ahead and listen to my business coach and do it, even if I don't think it's going to work. And lo and behold, it did work. So really, if you're reaching out for help, maybe you ought to listen to the person that's trying to help you, is kind of my takeaway from that. And even though I thought it wouldn't work, I obviously did not know. And that's why I needed help.
Now, the thing about marketing and ads, most marketing companies, I'm sure you've never experienced this, but I have, they want to come up with a new ad of the week, a new logo, a new ad, a new theme, a new vision, a new brand. Hey, wow, Mr. Client, look, it's the spring. We should do new ads, new vision, new promo. And they do that to stay busy, because they want to show that, which would be analogous to me. If I ran an automotive repair shop, this is where the analogy would go. That would be like me saying, Roy, I just fixed your truck, but guess what? I just broke it again. I'll be back in there fixing it. I mean, it's creating problems. And really what needs to be done is just diligently executing those systems. Could you talk about maybe the mind freedom or the time freedom that's created for you now, that you're following the same system and we're just doing it, as opposed to coming up with a new idea every week?
Sure. The franchise system, somebody actually developed a business, strong strengths, processes, and then they hand you this model and you just keep doing the same thing every week. Everybody knows what to do. It's really hard for us entrepreneurs to do that, because we had to start out micromanaging, but the transferring out of that is key to having freedom and for the money to scale up. I found that people my age, when they start, they had a big, giant capacity. Well, that capacity shrinks up as you age out. And if you don't do something about it and install systems and processes, your business is going to shrink with your capacity, because you become a giant funnel. And so those processes, what we do weekly, monthly, day in, day out, we're getting reviews. We're constantly getting reviews. Those reviews drive customers 24/7, and they're my most important thing. And the website on the videos off gets me on the front page, obviously, and so we keep doing what it takes to stay on the front page. I've tried all kind of fancy marketing and I've wasted a ton of money, and I couldn't measure one customer that came in because of it.
That's so powerful for somebody out there. Now, Roy, one thing is, when you go into the garage, I'm going to pull it up on the screen here. When we go to the garage automotive repair shop and the RC Auto Specialists, you and your family, you guys have really taken a pride and ownership into running it in a way where it creates a nice atmosphere. It's a good place to do business. When you go there, you don't feel like you're going to a prison. A lot of automotive repair shops have that kind of prison theme going on.
Sure.
You've worked really hard to create a nice atmosphere. And when you and I first started working together, we went in there, we kind of overhauled that lobby. We did some nice changes to the website. We updated the website so the website looked as good as the location. We did a lot of that. But now we're not in there, repainting the whole thing every 2 days. We're not coming up with a new theme every hour. I see these automotive repair people I work with, wonderful people, who feel the need to every week come up with a new theme, repaint the whole thing. They're constantly putting up different, they're doing different mailers. They're doing billboards. They're doing the billboards. They got there's local magazines. They're just doing a lot of work, and they're not getting the results. Could you talk about just tracking the numbers and why that has helped you, just tracking the numbers?
Yeah, you measure what's important to you. And the term metrics, I didn't know what that meant before I started working with you, but they're the key performance indicators. I liken them to gauges on a car or a scan tool. Like if I'm trying to fix a car and I don't have any metrics, any facts, it's going to be real hard. I may stumble across it if I threw enough parts at it, but it's a whole lot more effective if I can look at some data. That the metrics we track every week are the data. That's the measuring system. So I know if my marketing's working or not because I can track it in dollars every week. Super important.
So we're moving on here, folks. Again, if you're taking notes at home, step number 1 is establish your revenue goal. Step number 2, know your break-even point. Step number 3, define how many hours per week you're willing to work. Step number 4, we have to define our unique value proposition. And what we focused on, just to be clear, with the garage and the diesel repair business was you were already doing a great job repairing cars, but we had to get documented evidence that that was true. Because everybody's competing for that dollar, so we had to gather objective video reviews, a lot of them. And by the way, hundreds of them. And not just 200 or 300, but 500 of them per company, per location. It's pretty powerful. Next is we had to establish a 3-legged marketing stool. So we had to think about who are the ideal and likely buyers and what's the most sustainable way for Roy as the business owner to reach them. Some of my clients love hopping on podcasts and they like to be, one of my clients does RV, they sell RVs and he loves being on commercials and he loves being the face of the business and he wants to do all that. Other business owners don't want to do that. So what we did is we created a 3-legged marketing stool that allowed Roy to implement it without needing to be on camera all day or without needing to post on social media every 2 minutes. Roy, could you talk about that for a second? Because there's so many marketing strategies that could work, but many of them require the owner to live on social media. Could you talk about why you and I together have not gone with, hey, let's make Roy the viral TikTok king in order to grow the business?
Well, I'm happy. I'm thankful about that. It's really not my personality, but yeah, just doing a company that knows what works, i.e. Clay Clark's company. I don't know how many, you work at 600 companies. You've been doing it for what? How many years? 15 years?
20 years.
20 years. So after a while, maybe, just maybe, you know what you're doing, I think. So with the marketing, I call it the low-hanging fruit marketing, the stuff that actually works, best value. I can go on radio, but my ROI goes down significantly. So what we're doing right now, we track those numbers, and it's amazing how many new customers come in per week based on the same marketing we do week after week after week after week.
Now, Roy, you know, I remember this like it was yesterday, and I'll let you share as much of it as you want. But every client we ever work with, well, I always say, I tell the business owner, I said, we need to install call recording.
Oh, man.
I had a fantastic conversation with the dentist this morning, and I say fantastic. It did not go well. And I was on the phone with Mr. Dentist. I said, Mr. Dentist, I know you're paying me to help you. I really want to help you. And he says, I just have pushback on the call recording. I said, well, why? He goes, because if I play the calls, it's going to create an awkward culture. And we found out that his daughter is the one answering the phones. And so I said, can we just go in and just listen to a couple? And they were rough. I mean, you know, and it was like, didn't want to know. So I said, do we have anybody you're not related to? He said, well, one more, that we got a lady we know from church. We play the calls and they were actually not in any way, shape or form following the script. And she was trying to convince the patients that the dental practice was super busy and that they'd shut down for the day and that people should just call back.
Wow.
So around 3:00 every day, she's going, yeah, we're all booked down, but the doctor, he's all gone. But if you could just call back on Monday. And so she was trying to make the business conform to her schedule, which involved leaving early. Aaron Antis, who you referenced earlier, who referred me to you, Aaron found that people on the phone were using his phone line to poach customers. So he had people on his phone saying, thank you for calling Shaw Homes. How can I help you? And they would answer the phone, these salespeople, and they would refer the deals over to other home builders that were willing to pay more of a commission. I mean, when you started putting call recording in place, did you discover anything exciting?
Wow. I was at a loss of why the garage was struggling so bad and why customers didn't come back. And I listened to 3 phone calls and went down and fired the manager on the spot. It couldn't have been any worse if he was, I don't know that he wasn't on purpose trying to tank my business. It was so bad. And then I realized he's representing me. I mean, just a sketchy human, bad. So it was a key to turning that thing around, because I remember you said, oh, there's a couple of rats in there. I go, no, these are good people. And I mean, you better check, because these were not good people at all. So I almost, I don't know, a couple of people stayed, but I had to turn over the whole staff. And that's when things started getting better. But I wouldn't have known if I didn't hear.
Now, again, Roy's implemented the scripts. We talk about installing sales systems. I'm talking about scripts, folks. I'm talking about pre-written emails. I'm talking about recorded calls. We have a whole system for this, and Roy has implemented that. Step number 8, you got to track how much does it cost you to gain a new customer. So every week, Roy and I, we track those numbers. We look at them. We go, okay, we spent this much on advertising. And just to be clear, this is remarkable. I want people to know this. We're down right now to spending about $150 a week on ads, which is incredible for a location where, I mean, there are people that reach out to me, and right now I'm thinking about this automotive guy that I'm going to send this to. He's spending right now over $2,000 a week on ads, and you're now down to $150 a week on ads or less. Could you talk about just how, the idea that tracking every single week? I mean, because we've been doing it for years now. I mean, how many years have we been doing this? I mean, because we've been doing it for years now.
I think 2016, I believe.
Yeah. So we're like 9 years into it, and we're tracking, and you can see that number of that you were spending on ads is going down. Down. Can you talk about that a little bit?
I did the same thing. You get a couple slow days, and somebody tells you they can just overwhelm you with customers. It always takes a little more. But if you're not measuring, you don't know where they're coming from. You don't know if they're bringing in one. I'll never forget this young man just got out of college, and he had a marketing degree, and he's all excited about how he's going to just, explode my business. And so I think it was ClickFunnels or something. And the young man really believed it. I mean, he was passionate, and he believed what they told him. So I said, well, how much do we got to spend to know if it even works? And he gave me a number. Well, I doubled it. I said, well, let's double that number, and let's do it for a month and see if I can. And we ask where people come from, because we vet our customers at the counter. And so, and I said, let's give it a month. So he did all this stuff, and not one customer said that's where they heard about us after a month of doubling what he said it would take to make it work. But he believed it. He was sincere. He was just sincerely wrong. So again, working with somebody that actually knows what works is pretty important.
Now, step number 9, I want to brag on Roy for a second, folks, for anybody watching this. We all have different strengths and weaknesses. One thing Roy does really well is he's organized. And it's hard to build an organization unless you're organized. And I would say 90% of the clients I work with are not organized. And so when you go to the garage or RC Auto Specialist, everything has a place. Everything's organized. You can leave knowing that your vehicle is going to be repaired with quality and a focus on quality, taking care of your vehicle. That's something Roy's always done. But if you're watching today's show, I won't mention the name of the company, but there was a bakery I'd worked with for a while, and I'm not kidding. She would, every meeting, she would take a call. Clay, I got to take the call. What's going on? Sorry, someone's calling me. And then I'd say, what happened? She goes, oh, they ran out of eggs. I'm like, okay. Next week. Clay, got to take the call real quick. Sorry. They ran out of flour. Got to take the call. They ran out of toilet paper. And I'm going, hey, we're focusing on the marketing and the accounting and the systems and the legal and the tracking. But your core thing is you make cookies and bakery items, right? How often do you run out of material? She goes, every day. It's like every couple hours. It's just like zoo. So again, if you're out there today, you got to be organized. We'll help you with that. We didn't have to help Roy with that, but we do help. We most of our clients, we do have to help on that. Next is managing. Step number 10. I would argue that managing people is the hardest thing for compassionate people to do, holding people accountable to a standard of excellence. And Roy, you've done a great job of really assembling an all-star team piece by piece, almost like the NFL draft. Every year, if you have a team that's a loser, you got to go acquire a good guy, another good player, maybe do a trade, maybe do a different. And you've built a wonderful team now. Could you talk about maybe the pain of recognizing that someone's not a good fit and yet needing to, you want to be compassionate, but you also know that if you don't fire a bad employee, the customer will fire you. Could you talk about that? Because you've really built a great team now.
Yeah, we have the best humans we've ever had, but that was on purpose. And so one thing I've learned is to hire slowly, fire quickly. If you know you've made a mistake, it really affects the whole team, the whole atmosphere of the shop. One bad guy, I don't care how much work he's putting out, it is not worth it. I believe there's a proverb says, get rid of the mocker and all strife will cease. And I mean, the whole atmosphere of the shop changes. So now I've left it up to my employees. I say, if I hire somebody, I stick them in here and they don't fit our culture, you just let me know. So 2 of them lasted a week. It's not worth it. I won't do it. And like I said, we do well, but I've got good humans, no drama. Everybody shows up to work. They're family guys, but it was on purpose. I'm telling you, I've been through a few.
Now, next question I have here for you. Is, or next step number 11. You've got to create a repetitive schedule. You and your wife are really involved in missions and outreach, and I'll just kind of keep it vague there, but you guys are passionate about weekly going out and sowing seeds and investing time in ministry, and that's a big part of your schedule. Could you talk about the importance of you and your wife having a schedule that you two agree on? Because you guys have that, and a lot of clients I see, it's the husband and wife have a very different view of how the schedule should be, and rather than just agreeing to disagree or setting a schedule that works, there's a constant fight. Could you talk about just the importance of you and your wife having a schedule you both agree on?
Wow. Yeah. How can two walk together unless they be agreed? You know, she's right underneath the Father, Son, and Holy Ghost as far as any success I've had, and not blown it up 3 or 4 times. So I'm very thankful for her. So she's a high priority for me. And so we have come to an agreement about how much we're going to work and where we're going to be, and we have determined to be together. There was a season there that we couldn't, but we changed that pretty quick. So it wasn't healthy. And then I look back behind me and see how many people have been together. We've been 37 years now. And I mean, it is a huge win over any of these businesses, but it ties to those businesses. I could not have done what I've done without her back behind the scenes. You know, she's my strength. So we agree on everything. If we don't, I'm going to park it till we do, because that's that important to me. I don't know if that answered your question, but that's kind of how we operate.
No, this is big. I'm telling you, as a business consultant, you start to see people walk in a different direction. And if they're married, that gets odd. If they're business partners, it gets odd. So you've really set a great example for that. A final couple steps here. Again, folks, if you're taking notes, I put all of them in the show notes here. The next step number 12, human resources. We talked about it a little bit, but it's hard to manage people if you don't have good people. So I would just say never stop hiring. That's one thing I obsess on. Roy, you quickly adopted that. Most business owners will fight me on the idea. They'll say, why should I always be hiring if I already have good people? Roy, what do you say to someone who says, why should I always be hiring if I already have good people?
I've lost 3 people in 1 week. So you better have some back on the bench ready to come in, because trying to find them when you're in crisis situation, you usually end up getting a bad hire or two just out of desperation to get a human body in there, and then you have to back up and punt again. And so we have a several deep applications, people that we know, and if there's somebody really good, I'll make them a spot. I will pay them, and it looks like you're losing money. I'm not, because there will be a need, and when you need them, you can't find them. That's what I found.
Now, step number 13, folks, you got to know your numbers. We talked about that earlier, but you got to know your accounting. It's not how much you make, it's how much you keep. And Roy and I, we get into it. We talk about it. We look at the numbers every single week. And I'm telling you, there's little moves you can do, just a little tweak. Once you get the business to a certain level, you can do one tweak, just one little tweak. And all of a sudden, the profit, the actual money you can keep, will go up in a dramatic, impactful way. And so, yeah. Roy, I mean, what do you say for someone who's afraid of, doing a price increase despite record inflation, or somebody who's afraid to make a tweak or make a cut? What do you say about really knowing those numbers?
Yeah, we did $6 million in sales last year, and we did just call it 6% better. It was different at both shops, but average 6% better to the bottom line. Well, that's $360,000 of profit that for 6%. That's substantial numbers. That's life-changing money that is on top of what you were doing before, without even bringing any more cars, just being more efficient, cutting waste. You've had me do several things, like going through with changing credit card companies and fees and different just going through and checking all the monthly things that are automated that you're not even using anymore. I mean, and these little percentages add up at the end of the year to a big number, especially when your sales numbers start going up significantly.
Now, step number 14, I would ask anybody watching today's show, what's the purpose of having a business? I would argue that every day that we have is a gift from God, and what we do with it is a gift to God. And a business is simply a vehicle that allows you to give more, be more, make a bigger impact. And that's how I look at it. And I know, Roy, you're a Christian business owner. You don't have a sign that says Christian business owner, Roy Cogshaw, but you are. And I know that the profits that you make, you and your wife like to sow seed into good ground and support missions. Could you talk about how you view a business? Like, what's the purpose of a business at this point in your life? Like, what is the purpose of owning a business?
Yeah, at this stage of my life, I was just trying to get some money and get out of crisis, and starting the business. But we have a nonprofit that the businesses fund. It's closer to a foundation at this point. I always say you'll do more for a higher cause than you'll do for yourself. Like I work night and day and side jobs for my family. I wouldn't have worked that hard just for myself, but there's a higher purpose now with I call it doing some 10,000 years from now stuff. That's really what flips my switch now. And I'm going to do a third, but I don't need any more money, but I want to be able to give some more money. Right. So that's going to require a third. Also have some really great humans that work for me, and they make really good money. They can work 5 days a week and enjoy their family. That's super important for me to have. Also, I actually enjoy being around these guys. So starting a third will give some room for movement, and everybody can move up and make more also. So that's what flips my switch,
Okay, my final two questions for you. Here we go.
Okay, all right.
When you pay me, I pay. We deliver service for you. What I know that you and I have a meeting every week, and at that meeting time, the purpose of that meeting is to make sure that we identify what needs to be discussed. We identify, we discuss, and we solve. What am I saying? We identify the biggest limiting factor, we discuss the best way to solve it, and then we solve it. So identify, discuss, solve, IDS. We do it every week. And so the meeting doesn't need to be 2 hours. It doesn't need to be 90 minutes. The purpose is to identify what needs to be discussed, discuss it, and then solve it. And for me, it's peaceful knowing that I'm working with 160 people that I actually care about, and knowing that they're going to go out there and take those profits and do great things with it. Could you talk about just maybe the impact it's made on you, knowing that, okay, I'm going to pay this guy this amount of money. I'm not going to get a random fee or a random charge, or he's not going to, go, oops, we had 2 calls, so it's more, or wow, we didn't meet this week, so it's less. Can you talk about just knowing in your mind that you got the graphic design, the photo, the video, the web, the search, the ads, all of that is a monthly thing?
Yeah, not too long ago, I looked at what the average percentage of sales was spent on marketing, and I'm like half of the bottom number is what spent on marketing. Obviously, my marketing's working because we're tracking it, right, and the sales growth. And as far as the SEO, and like I've messed up and didn't send money to the hosting service and crashed my website. Clay had it back up in half a day. It's really great to have somebody call, just fixes it. I can do what I do, you do what you do. So it's very powerful to me to have somebody that no matter what's going on, no matter what crashes, you can take care of it. And I'm very convinced that it's a great bargain. I don't know how you do what you do as cheap as you do, but it actually is super economical for me.
Now, Roy, what do you say to anybody out there that's thinking about going to thrivetimeshow.com and scheduling a free 13-point assessment? They're thinking about coming to one of our conferences to see Tim Tebow. They're thinking about maybe coming out to a conference to see an Eric Trump, or thinking about scheduling a free consultation. What do you say?
Man, if you want change, you need to change, right? And if you knew what you needed to know to change it, you would have already changed it. So it might be good to get some knowledge. I always say this: you're stuck at your level of knowledge right now. So if you don't increase that, you can't go anywhere. And especially in the area of business, most startups are technicians, right? A lot of technicians are kind of arrogant and don't think they need any help. Never even read a book on business. That was me. And then wonder why you're having trouble running one, right? So it is a huge win to actually start learning about business. And I read books now, and I value knowledge, but it was a journey that really took the lid off of me, or I'd be in crisis right now at 65 and having to twist wrenches still and be in that mode I was in when I came to you. So I would encourage everybody, even for your health, your marriage, fix it. You need to fix it.
Roy, you're the best joke giver I've ever seen. You have a delivery. It's a mastery. I'm not trying to paint you into a corner. I know you have a good joke. And okay. Give yourself a moment to get ready for that joke. If you're watching this right now and you don't find this funny, there's something wrong with you folks psychologically. Roy's the best joke. Every week he has a different joke. So, Roy, I'm ready.
What do you call a man with a toe growing out of his knee? Tony.
Yes. Yes. Does your wife feed you these jokes? Where do you get this endless source of jokes?
She rolls her eyes. She's not one of my biggest fans on the jokes at all, but it doesn't slow me down much.
Well, thank you. He's a comedian. He's an entrepreneur. He's a husband. He's a great dad. He's a committed Christian. I encourage everybody out there, check out his websites. He's a real guy. Roy, thank you for carving out time for us today. I really do appreciate you.
All right. Thanks, Clay. Have a great day, brother.
Take care. Bye-bye.
All right. Bye.
One of our accountants had said, you've got to meet this guy, Clay. So we ended up meeting with Clay, and he's helped us go from right before we opened the third location now to 6 locations. And so we've more than doubled our revenue. And these are ground up build gyms. And so it's not, the barrier for entry is pretty high. It's 20 plus staff at each location. So yeah, it's been a lot as far as running systems, checklists, workflows, who does what, when, and how, training us on that. Clay's helped a ton. We would not be where we're at without him. So huge win.
Charles, from an ROI perspective, if someone's going to look at it and go, return on investment, I pay you $1,700 a month. Will I make more money than I'm paying you? How would you maybe tackle, or how would you respond to, what kind of return on investment have you seen for the $1,700 a month you're paying?
Well, for example, Clay has got, there's no better business coach in the world that has the way he works, the way his mind works. But he's also got a team of other business coaches that have worked in lots of different industries. So he's worked in every industry. His staff has worked in every industry. He's got videographers, web designers. I mean, just for the fact of like just the website alone is worth the $1,700. Just the ability to take any of their proven systems, whether that's a marketing thing or whether that's a staffing thing, like one thing done in the month pays for itself. And then to understand this, there's a part of where, some week you may be like, well, you know what? I'm not getting a whole lot out of this call. But the bottom line is, it's like when you read the Bible, there's times you're just reading it and then you're like, you know what? And then you read it that one time and it's like, God really speaks to your heart. And the whole truth is, it's like, there's no way that you can get that kind of value for $1,700 to have a whole team of coaches, graphic designers, web developers, anybody that has that type of knowledge, in your back pocket. And then the whole thing is run your business with being somewhat conservative. Make sure you don't run it to the edge all the time. But by doing that, you have that skill set. You have those tools on your tool belt. Yep. And I just think it's just like the cost of doing business. Like just understand it. That's what
I think there's sometimes the payment we make, I feel like, is peace of mind, even because there have been multiple times throughout the years that we will either be butting heads on something. We're super confused about something. We're fearful about something in the market's changed, and it's a quick call to Clay.
Clay, my honor to be on your show, and thank you for all you do. I hear the ripple effects from you are good ripple effects. You know what I mean? People rave about what they learned from you. So congratulations.
Sean, guess what's happening June 5th and 6th right here in Tulsa, Jerusalem?
We are probably going to have an amazing business conference here at Tulsa, Jerusalem.
Yes, we're joined by Tim Tebow. Tim Tebow is going to be joining us right here at the Thrivetime Show World Headquarters, June 5th and 6th. He's a very successful football player, obviously a Heisman Award winner, but he's also a very successful entrepreneur. Now, when you work with real clients, Sean, clients you really work with to help them grow their companies, do you ever hear a business owner tell you that they didn't have time to get something done?
Every day.
How often is not having enough time a problem for business owners?
All the time. It's like maybe 90% of the issues as people are trying to grow their company.
Well, Tim Tebow is going to come join us here at the in-person Thrivetime Show 2-day interactive business workshop, and he's going to teach us time management and his approach to personal self-discipline and getting things done. Also at the workshop, I'll put up on the website so people can see it here. Also at the 2-day interactive workshop, Sean, we are going to be, there it is. We're going to be teaching accounting, systems creation, marketing, human resources, how to hire, inspire, train, and retain great people, accounting, social media advertising, search engine optimization. Sean, what's the area where most clients ask you for help the most? Is it generating leads? Is it hiring people? What's the biggest issue that most business owners have by default before they come to one of our workshops?
Well, I think it's management, because time is the most valuable resource for these business owners, and being able to manage their time is the first thing. Once they get that under control, then generally the numbers you know, being able to track their business and be able to make the best decisions based on numbers rather than emotions is a big area. And we teach all of this stuff at the business conference, particularly you, Clay. You love to hammer on time management. It's my favorite part of the conference.
Now, I'm going to pull this up real quick here because we're going to go through. If you're not excited, I want to get you excited about what we're going to cover at the workshop here. Okay.
All right.
The 2-day interactive workshop. This is my 20th year hosting workshops. So I'm telling you, folks, we're in rare form here. So one is the idea of establishing your revenue goals. I think most entrepreneurs don't know their revenue goals. Would you agree, or am I off my rocker?
No, that's totally a very important point we do with every one of our new clients that come on board is we have to establish the revenue goals. And generally speaking, we have a vague idea, but not an exact idea that can be engineered down into like the daily goals for sales. And so that's a really big one.
Now, next is the break-even numbers. What kind of sales do you have to do to even break even?
Yeah.
Third is how many hours per week do you want to work? What is your ideal schedule as an entrepreneur? Box number 4, how do you stand out in the clutter of commerce? What makes your company unique from all the different businesses? In a world of brown cows, herds of brown cows, proverbial brown cows, the analogy of brown cows, how can you be the purple cow that stands out? How can you be the squeaky wheel that gets the oil? Box number 5, branding. How do you improve the perception that people have of you, your business, your brand? Box number 6, marketing, your 3-legged marketing stool. What is a turnkey way for you and your company to generate leads so you can succeed? Because if you don't have any leads, your business will bleed. If you can't sell, your business will go to hell. You've got to generate leads. Sean, how often do business owners by default tell you they have a hard time generating leads?
It's almost all of the time. It's really a huge struggle. And many times they may be creating leads, but just through word of mouth. So they get to a point where we've implemented systems and then they need to create more leads, but they've never had to do it. So there's a lot of different scenarios where business owners are like, how do you create leads? Something we hammer on at the conference a lot.
Box number 7, create a sales conversion system. Again, box number 7, create a sales conversion system. Sales scripts, recorded calls, one-sheets, pre-written emails, lead trackers, all of the sales tools, the sales print pieces, the one-sheets, the big screens that you see inside the business. Whether you're a doctor, you're a dentist, you're a lawyer, you got to have sales systems in place. We help you with that. Box number 8, what does it cost you to get another customer? Step number 8, what does it cost you to actually acquire a customer? Step number 9, it's hard to build an organization if you're not organized. We're going to teach you how to create repeatable systems, processes, file organization. Box number 10, we're going to teach you how to manage people, real people on the planet Earth. This just in, we're going to teach you how to manage real people on the planet Earth. Box number 11, how to create a sustainable schedule that works for you and your family. Step number 12, how to create human resources systems for recruiting, hiring, training, and retaining great people. Box number 13, accounting. This just in, we have to cover accounting. It's not how much you make, it's how much you keep. We're going to cover all the accounting things you need to know. And step 14, finally, what is the point of even achieving success? We're going to go over what is the point of even achieving success, how to design a life that you're excited about, how to design a life where you carve out enough time for your faith, your family, your finance, your fitness, your friendship, your fun, and where you're going to spend your focused time. We're going to go through that, all this and more. Now, the workshop, Sean, it's June 5th and 6th.
Yep.
It's a 2-day interactive workshop.
Yes.
And tickets, we always do it. It's $250 or whatever price that someone can afford. Sean, why do we let people name their price? Why do we have scholarship tickets available if somebody can't afford the $250 general admission ticket?
Well, we don't want anybody to miss out on it. You could be at a startup phase or you could be, way along in your business, but we want to make it accessible for everybody. I think it actually goes back to a story of your dad. And it goes all the way back to how you've always done this as a business coach, trying to make sure that, your average people out there have access to the things that work.
Now, 7 a.m. to 5. Sean, why do we go from 7 to 5 both days? I mean, it's 10 hours a day. 20 hours of training over 2 days. Why do we do 10 hours a day, Sean, of back-to-back workshops? We do a 30-minute teaching session. We do a 15-minute question and answer session, and then we take a break. 30 minutes of teaching, 15 minutes of question and answer, then we take a break. Why do we do that format, Sean?
That format is so that we can keep people engaged and not just sitting there listening, but also getting involved. We really encourage people to ask questions, and that's really where the juiciness of the conference comes out, is you can put your personal personal situation and your questions on the board, and Clay will tee off and give you direct advice. Even without being in our coaching program, you can get direct coaching from Clay. It's really a very engaging format. I enjoy it a lot.
Sean, final 60 seconds pop quiz here. What date is the conference?
June 5th and 6th, 2025, this year.
Question number 2, who's our keynote speaker coming to the conference there, Sean?
Tim Tebow is our keynote speaker.
Sean, question number 3, how much does it cost to come to our in-person 2-day interactive business workshop right here in Tulsa, Oklahoma?
I think it's, did you say it's $250 or whatever you can afford?
That's right, $250 or whatever you can afford. Sean, how do you spell Eric Trump backwards?
P-M-U-R-T-C-I-R-E. Ooh, that took a long time.
I'll have to listen to this. And right. All right, again, that's Sean Lohman. I'm Clay Clark, inviting you to come join us at the in-person Thrivetime Show 2-day interactive workshop, June 5th and 6th, right here in Tulsa, Oklahoma. Sean, I'm excited to have this event. I'm excited to see you at the event, June 5th and 6th, right here in Tulsa, Oklahoma. Tim Tebow, baby. It's Tebow time in Tulsa, Jerusalem.
You could be anywhere doing a lot of different things, but you chose to be here.
Clay Clark is here somewhere. Where's my buddy Clay? Clay's the greatest. I met his goats today. I met his dogs. I met his chickens. I saw his compound. He's like the greatest guy.
I ran from his goats, his chickens, his dogs.
So this guy's like the greatest marketer you've ever seen, right? His entire life, Clay Clark, his entire life is marketing.
Hey guys, Luke Erickson here with the Thrivetime Show. As you can see behind me, we've got all kinds of energy going on. People are starting to show up for the conference, and it is hot in this place. We got grill guns over here. We've got people playing the drums. We've got fire breathers, and man, people are so excited as they come in. The conference is kicked off. This house is packed. We've got Aaron Hansis with Sean Holmes up there. We've got Steve Currington with Total Lindy Concepts up there talking about what is possible when you just implement, when you do the proven system. It's so exciting. People are going crazy. Guys, Luke Erickson with the Thrivetime Show here with you. It is day 2 and the energy is high. People are so excited to be showing up. The team is ready. Come on, let's see what it's like to go on in for day 2. Follow me. I'll tell you what, people are so excited to be here for day 2. It is going to be incredible. Cannot wait to see what today has in store. Right now, here at the conference, we've broken into groups going over search engine optimization. I know for most of us, myself included, if you hear that term, you go, what is that? What does that mean? That's too techie for me. Well, our experts are breaking it down for people so that you can clearly understand how to come up top in Google. It's doable. It's possible. Now we're in the middle of a break, and what we like to do is we like to give you as much tangible and relevant information from about the start of the hour for 45 minutes. Then we take approximately a 15-minute break to allow people to connect with other entrepreneurs around them, bathroom breaks, and also use this time to just really digest all of the good information that you're receiving the whole time. Right behind me, we've got Bob with his grill gun, melting an ice sculpture. It is awesome. The ice sculpture represents our life, right? It's here for a time, but we all need to have the sense of urgency to implement the things that we're learning so that we can make the most of the time that we have.
I heard about it on the podcast. Started listening to the podcast, became a fan, and then figured out about the workshop. I own an insurance and financial services agency, and I was hoping to learn from the workshop systems and processes. I'm big on systems and processes and always learning better ways to run a business more efficiently. The atmosphere's second to none. It's a high energy, really cool atmosphere to be around. Contagious, I would say. Just something every entrepreneur, I think, would appreciate and love. I'd say humorous, high energy, and full of substance, which I think is the key. A lot of business coaches or seminars maybe are high on motivation and making you feel good, but don't have a lot of substance that you can take back and implement, the following Monday, where his does. Man, there's a lot of valuable things. I'm gonna say, this is my second workshop. The first workshop I took back really the importance of a group interview. I used to spend hours and hours interviewing people, screening resumes, and that saving my time on that part is valuable. It was that and then the sales scripting that have been two major things just so far. Man, I think they're missing out on, expert advice from somebody who's been there, done that, built companies, has learned a lot of lessons. That's what I'm always looking for, is somebody that I can learn from that's ahead of where I am. And I think if you choose not to come, you're missing out on a lot of good advice that could help your business.
Hi, I'm Aaron Antis with Shaw Homes. I first heard about Clay through a mortgage lender here in town who had told me what a great job he had been doing for them, and I actually noticed he was driving a Lamborghini all of a sudden, so I was willing to listen. In my career, I've sold a little over $800 million in real estate. So honestly, I thought I kind of knew everything about marketing and homes. And then I met Clay, and my perception of what I knew and what I could do definitely changed. After doing $800 million in sales over a 15-year career, I really thought I knew what I was doing. I've been managing a large team of salespeople for the last 10 years here with Shaw Homes. And we've been a company that's been in business for 35 years. We've become one of the largest builders in the Tulsa area, and that was without Clay. So when I came to know Clay, I really thought, man, there's not much more I need to know, but I'm willing to listen. The interesting thing is our internet leads from our website has actually, in a 4-month period of time, has gone from somewhere around 10 to 15 leads in a month to 180 internet leads in a month. Just from the few things that he's shown us how to implement that I honestly probably never would have come up with on my own. So I got a lot of good things to say about the system that Clay put in place with us, and it's just been an incredible experience. I am very glad that we met and had the opportunity to work with Clay. So the interaction with the team and with Clay on a weekly basis is honestly very enlightening. One of the things that I love about Clay's perspective on things is that he doesn't come from my industry. He's not somebody who's in the home building industry. I've listened to all the experts in my field. Our company has paid for me to go to seminars, international builder shows, all kinds of places where I've had the opportunity to learn from the experts in my industry. But the thing that I found working with Clay is that he comes from such a broad spectrum of working with so many different types of businesses that he has a perspective that's difficult for me to gain because I get so entrenched in what I do, I'm not paying attention to what other leading industry experts are doing. And Clay really brings that perspective for me. It is very valuable time every week when I get that hour with him. From my perspective, the reason that any business owner who's thinking about hooking up with Thrive needs to definitely consider it is because the results that we've gotten in a very short period of time are honestly monumental. It has really exceeded my wildest expectation of what he might be able to do. I came in skeptical because I'm very pragmatic, and as I've gone through the process over just a few months, I've realized it's probably one of the best moves we've ever made. I think a lot of people probably feel like they don't need a business or marketing consultant because they maybe are a little bit prideful and like to think they know everything. I know that's how I felt coming in. I mean, we're a big company that's definitely one of the largest in town. And so we kind of felt like we knew what we were doing. And I think for a lot of people, they let their ego get in the way of listening to somebody that might have a better or different perspective than theirs. I would just really encourage you, if you're thinking about working with Clay, I mean, the thing is, it's month to month. Go give it a try and see what happens. I think in the 35-year history of Shaw Homes, this is probably the best thing that's happened to us. And I know if you give them a shot, I think you'll feel the same way. I know for me, the thing I would have missed out on if I didn't work with Clay is I would have missed out on literally an 1,800% increase in our internet leads, going from 10 a month to 180 a month. That would have been a huge financial decision to just decide not to give it a shot. I would absolutely recommend Clay Clark to anybody who's thinking about working with somebody in marketing. I would skip over anybody else you were thinking about, and I would go straight to Clay and his team. I guarantee you're not going to regret it, because we sure haven't.
My name is Danielle Sprick, and I am the founder of D Sprick Realty Group here in Tulsa, Oklahoma. After being a stay-at-home mom for 12 years and my 3 kids started school and they were in school full-time, I was at a crossroads and trying to decide what do I want to do? My degree and my background is in education, but after being a mom and staying home and all of that, I just didn't have a passion for it like I once did. My husband suggested real estate. He's a home builder, so real estate and home building go hand in hand, and we just rolled with it. I love people, I love working with people, I love building relationships, but one thing that was really difficult for me was the business side of things. The processes and the advertising and marketing. I knew that I did not have what I needed to make that what it should be. So I reached out to Clay at that time, and he and his team have been extremely instrumental in helping us build our brand, help market our business, our agents, the homes that we represent. Everything that we do is a direct line from Clay and his team and all that they've done for us. We launched our brokerage, our real estate brokerage, 8 months ago. And in that time, we've gone from myself and one other agent to just this week, we signed on our 16th agent. We have been blessed with the fact that we right now have just over 10 million in pending transactions. 3 years ago, I never would have even imagined that I would be in this role that I'm in today, building a business, having 16 agents. But I have to give credit where credit's due. And Clay and his team and the business coaching that they've offered us has been huge. It's been instrumental in what we're doing. Don't ever limit your vision. When you dream big, big things happen.
I started a business because I couldn't work for anyone else. I do things my way. I do what I think is in the best interest of the patient. I don't answer to insurance companies. I don't answer to large corporate organizations. I answer to my patient, and that's it. My thought when I opened my clinic was I can do this all myself. I don't need additional outside help in many ways. I went to medical school. I can figure this out. But it was a very, very steep learning curve. Within the first 6 months of opening my clinic, I had a $63,000 embezzlement. I lost multiple employees. Clay helped us weather the storm of some of the things that are just a lot of people experience, especially in the medical world. He was instrumental in helping with the specific written business plan. He's been instrumental in hiring good quality employees, using the processes that he outlines for getting in good talent, which is extremely difficult. He helped me in securing the business loans. He helped me with web development and search engine optimization. We've been able to really keep a steady stream of clients coming in because they found us on the web. With everything that I encountered, everything that I experienced, I quickly learned it is worth every penny to have someone in your team that can walk you through and even avoid some of the pitfalls that are almost invariable in starting your own business. I'm Dr. Chad Edwards, and I own Revolution Health and Wellness Clinic.
Clay, my honor to be on your show, and thank you for all you do. I hear the ripple effects from you are good ripple effects. You know what I mean? people rave about what they learned from you. So congratulations.
And we went from expecting maybe 250,000 this year to we're at 400,000. Hi, I'm Kelsey with K&D's Woodward Finishing. I'm business owner at 23. So I've been working this K&D's company for about 5 years now, and we started working with Thrive not too long ago. And we went from expecting maybe 250,000 this year to we're at 400,000. That's what we're going to hit or exceed. So we're pretty excited about that. It's been pretty much just listening to what they have to say. Their hiring process has just really been incredible as far as finding good quality help, and the just the accountability of meeting up with them weekly, and like such good insight, the resources that they have for specific business questions. It's all been really incredible. It's been a great experience, so I would recommend it to anybody.
What I've seen from Clay and his group at Thrive is they'll give you a simple system, and it's the simple systems are the ones that people can wrap their brain around. They're the ones that people can work with on a day-to-day basis.
Hi there, my name is Stephanie Pipkin. I am 24 years old and I own Black River Falls Cleaning Services. We opened in April of 2019 and it is now mid-June of 2020. So I wanted to talk today about the success and growth I have achieved by implementing the Proven Path with Clay Clark's team and my business coach Luke from Thrivetime. It has been insane to say the least. I started working with them in mid-February of this year, so we're about 4 months in of working together, and it has completely transformed my business in pretty much every facet. So I'm gonna check my notes here. So in 4 months, my leads have tripled. I was getting probably like 2 leads a week. Now I'm getting more in the like 10 to 15 leads a week. I have doubled my number of employees. I'm now hitting the highest revenue weeks in the history of the company, week to week it seems like. We went from about 6 appointments today as our highest in February to now 14 to 15 appointments a day. And hiring quality employees has become much simpler and less stressful by using their systems for hiring. I typically only get maybe 2 complaints a month, if that, and everybody shows up to work. I just have really high quality employees now, especially in something people typically consider a high turnover type of work, you know, cleaning houses, cleaning businesses. I have amazing employees now, and I get rid of the ones who are not so amazing and bring on new ones because of, you know, group interviews and interviewing every single week. It's just been great, and such I don't waste as much time on low quality candidates anymore. And your coach will hold you accountable. I mean, which I love. Again, the tough love is really great. You know, Luke's like a stern father figure, but he's also nice, but also stern when he needs to be when I'm being lazy and not doing the things that I know I need to do because I don't want to do them. So that's just great. Worth every penny. I mean, I'd pay him $1 million a month if I can, and maybe someday I'll be able to, but I would just say go for it. If it seems like a good fit, just go for it. Do what they say, even if you think it's stupid or ridiculous, just do what they say because it'll work. You know, people, when they look at my business, you know, people in my town, they think I'm lucky. They think I'm just, you know, things just happen for me. And, you know, maybe I am lucky, but it has a lot to do with hard work and, you know, perseverance and, you know, working till you cry sometimes. That's just being an entrepreneur, which if you're a business owner, you understand that. But it's having these systems in place of, you know, of course I'm going to be successful. It's an absolute because I have all this stuff in the background happening, and I have Luke and Clay and everybody on their team working really hard to make sure that I'm a success, and I can tell that they are just so excited every single week when I'm having all these wins and things like that. They're so excited for me. So it's the best thing ever, and I would suggest to anybody to work with them. So sorry for the long-winded reply, but I just had so much to say, and I could go on for hours probably about how amazing they are. But thank you to Clay and Luke and the entire team there, everything you guys have done for me, and I am so excited to continue to work with you for years to come. Thanks so much for watching.
My saying is, if it's important to you, hire a coach. And I think that's one of the reasons people are not successful is they they eat a cheeseburger instead of hiring a coach. You know what I mean? And so my coach pushes me. They're younger than me. They push harder. They're trained. And as my rich dad always said, amateurs don't have a coach, but professionals always have coaches. So I've always had coaches for whatever was important. My rich dad was one of those persons. You're on it, man. You're on it. You're on it. Everybody, listen to this guy. He knows what he's talking about. You have the macro picture. Very few people have that point of view.
Clay, you're an entrepreneur. I'm an entrepreneur. And as they say in Stoic, the obstacle is the way. And so if you let these pinheads get in your way, you're in trouble.